Hi, Warriors ECB. Today I shorted Dixie, risking 60. AJ, how are you? Yeah, NASDAQ's up, but a lower high in NASDAQ, not quite a new high in S&Ps. How are you, Bran? I don't want to deal with a buttload. How are you, Sinatra? Ryan, Alexander, James. Hi, Kman. Matthew Duggan, welcome to F.A.C.E. You found the right place. Ryan, Laura, Ingmar. Okay, so let's start off with Euro. Just one thing before we get started. I know it wasn't, you couldn't make money on it, but I did talk about the fact that I believed Israel would retaliate before the election. And they announced yesterday that that's exactly what's going to happen. They announced that to the U.S. Their plan is ready. So, the long shot of this, I always thought an October surprise, which isn't a surprise, was going to be a geo surprise. So just a possibility. I don't think the administration wanted this, but if this is going to happen, I also said it's a chance for Harris to appear presidential on the world stage, which, a lot of people say she doesn't have experience with. And here's a long shot that Biden turns over his presidency to her after this happens. Anyway, just some thoughts. Let's deal with pips and have a full house. All the guys are here. So why don't I start off with Ryan Littlestone on the Euro.
Morning, Dale.
Expectations, my trading warrior brother?
Expectations. Oh, always have low expectations.
Yeah, it's better to have low expectations.
Yeah, everyone's trying to guess and second guess and third guess what's going to happen with this. There's people looking for a dovish slant. If they go 25, does it mean they're going to go 25 every meeting and our 50 is going to be coming out the hat? And then the other side are saying, well, if they don't do that, then it's going to be undovish and we're going to see the Euro rally. So I think you've got to look at the bigger picture. If we see a Euro rally on a 25 cut and no real commitment about what they're going to do in future, then we're probably going to see a half decent rally. But I think that's a rally that gets sold into, because I don't think this trend we've got from 120 from 112, which is very strong, is going to turn around just on today's stuff, particularly with the US outperforming the way it is. So there's things for all cases. If they are dovish, then I reckon we need to set our sights on maybe 107 right down there, which is a big level. So it's.
I mean, it went further than this first rally in the dollar went about 40 pips. Once we had a throwover, but here now we're approaching this in the Dixie, and a lot of people had 104 for a final target. Which means this rally is going to be over once it stops. I don't know. Could we have a pullback? That's a different story, back to 102. But I'm sure Ellioticians are calling this impulsive, right? It got from point A to point B in a hurry compared to the way it was grinding down here. So I'm with you. I'd love an opportunity to buy it. So I've run out of patience waiting to buy it. So I'm taking my second shot at selling the dollar. Euro earlier in the week, didn't hold, right? So I'm trying it again. This time I'm going with Dixie, lower beta. It's been approved by ARP, which is the American Association of Retired Persons, that you can trade Dixie because it has a lower beta and they're not afraid of any medical repercussions. So I'm in the Dixie now, buddy.
As old as you, isn't it, the Dixie?
You know what? I don't think so.
What about the song?
when I was running on the floor as a runner on the CME floor, they didn't have a Dixie contract. They traded, Swiss and D-marks and things like that, but I'm older than the Dixie contract.
Oh, there you go.
That's a real shocker. Blake thinks I'm older than everything.
Older than
Okay,
the
You're
world.
older than
uh,
the financial markets in general.
well, I still kept my tape under glass that I used to follow the stock market with in the 20s. I still have it here on my desk next to the laptop. You got me, Steve.
You can make good money selling that.
Okay, so anyway, I'm noticing. I wanted Ryan, before I leave you, do you think the super moon is going to have any effect on the markets today?
Not here because it's cloudy.
Okay, it doesn't. If you
For a
can't
change.
see it,
I
if
can't
you
see it for a
can't,
change.
yeah, if you can't see it, it doesn't matter. Anyway,
Doesn't mean
super moon
anything.
tonight. So maybe we get some turns. I think it's there's also an asteroid up there going around the moon, which is pretty rare. So Rod Serling, just take a look at gold. It made new highs. I know a lot of people are talking 2,700, and on the verge of a retaliation. The hardest thing to do is to sell gold, right? So everyone's waiting for the attack to sell it. We'll see if they get it. Silver, retraced what more than 61.8, and maybe it can even retrace. But I'm a believer in this formation. Over today's highs, it's going to start looking good. And if you're going to be long metals, gold's the one to be long. And if you're bearish metals, silver's the one to be short. So let's see, let's bring in Kman. I was tempted to short the yen here and
Hello, Dale. Hello, everybody.
put a stop over the high of the week with everyone else. What do you think?
Well, I mean, if you want to be short dollars, if you think there's a risk on the U.S. numbers, which there always is, 150 is one. The other one is dollar Swiss. We tagged the 78.6 of the last move lower and rejected it. So that's another one at 86.70. Those are $2 that perhaps could continue
Peak.
lower if the U.S. numbers are bad. All of them could, of course, but if you
Yeah,
want to steer away from the euro for now because of the ECB.
yeah,
Those are two to watch, and the levels are, I think, in the short term, relatively clear. I
yeah,
suppose there's a bit of barrier stuff going on in dollar yen as well, because it's not going to say strange, but it's we haven't touched 150 at all, and if the market is really wanting to go, we should have at least traded 150, but. So yeah, I think you will accompany with a stop above 150, especially if there are a few barriers around.
yeah. I
But yeah,
mean, compared to the dollar,
mm,
this rally in Swiss is anemic.
yeah,
I say I hadn't looked at that, but
because
it is.
Swiss has two things that prevent it from weakening right now. And first of all is geopolitics, and because it's still somewhere a bit of a refuge when you want to hedge the geopolitics, and I think the other one is euro, and euro is relatively weak. So are the euro crosses. So the euro Swiss is no exception. So that one is still quite weak. It doesn't want to hold above 94 cents. So I think there's your two reasons why the Swiss is not really weakening a lot
Yeah,
further. Get better news, or get some I don't know, less tensions, geopolitics, less um, I, and another one that could really see Swiss weaken a little bit is if and when people will buy a China revival, because that should be very risk positive. But
yeah.
yeah, in the meantime, Swiss is the slow one, really the slow one. Yeah, and as you can
Okay.
see there on
I
the
was just gonna
CNA,
say good morning, guys.
Good morning,
We have
guys.
about 6 minutes till the ECB meeting. Just FYI.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
You want to step in and get your comments in and everything, Blake, before?
I'll let Kman wrap up about Euro
Hmm.
Swiss. Go ahead,
Okay,
Kman.
go ahead,
No,
buddy.
I was just jumping over to that CNH. As you can see, the market
Yeah.
hasn't bought the Chinese revival yet. You can see it in the
Yeah.
stock market, you can see it in the CNH. So
Yeah,
for as long as that's going to be the case, it's probably going to hold back some risk trades as well. Yeah, and I think it's weighing on oil, by the way, as well, on energy. But here we go. Yep, I'm done.
all right. Well, Nasdaq isn't making a new high yet. Blake
Did
will
you say
show it.
NASDAQ isn't?
Isn't yet.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you guys saw the earnings out of Taiwan Semi last night. Taiwan Semi is up 9% this morning. So
Yeah.
if you're wondering, what one of the catalysts is driving this equity market higher is Taiwan Semi. Also just we've been talking about the euro dollar, and I had to jump in here just because we have the ECB. I know, Ryan, you talked a little bit about it. Steve's here. Steve, you have any opinions about the ECB real quick? Oh, he is here. Okay, just making sure.
Of course I'm here. You heard me before, didn't you?
Yeah, I don't know if sometimes you step away real quick for a meeting or whatever.
Listen, having to do with the ECB, I don't say that, other times, for example, at the previous meeting, having to do with the Fed, I had a very strong feeling about the 50 basis points, etc. In this case, I wouldn't say that, I have something in mind that outside the norm. In general, though, if you want my longer term view about the ECB is going to do, I think the ECB is going to do what it usually does, which is err in the side of dovishness, right? So we have to keep that in mind.
Yeah, I mean, there's been nothing but weak data to support a cut here. The question is going to be, and Ryan, we're going to use your term, and maybe you want to throw it around a little bit. How undovishness are they going to be? Is that right? Did I use that correctly, Ryan?
Yeah, undovish.
So, I know you and Kman talked about this during the flow show, but let's jump in here. Like, what do you need to be looking for today during I mean, we have the obviously the meeting right now. Then we're going to have the weekly unemployment claims in about 20 minutes. Then after that, 15 minutes after that, we got the ECB meeting. Do we or a press conference? Are we going to see a move here because of the refi rate or the deposit rate, with the ECB?
Not if it comes in as expected. If they cut 25, then we probably get next to no move. But it depends what lines we get with it. Is it going to follow the same as yet previous statements? They're just going to continue data dependent, no preset course, blah, 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 blah. Then it probably won't do much. It might rally a little bit because they haven't been dovish. But if it says something, if they go at 50 by chance, or if they go, we expect to cut at future rate meetings, something like that, then that's going to be a dovish slant, and the euro is going to dip a bit further.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. And Kman, I want to ask, do we live in a world at all where the ECB won't cut 25 basis points here?
No way.
If you only look at France and Germany, there's a reason to cut 50, but they probably won't. It's not my base case. I think if they just go 25 and keep the same rhetoric as they do, data dependent, perhaps the euro jumps just a little bit, but I think it may be counted if you get a print above 109 or so. But yeah, 50 is still a surprise cut, but I'm not completely ruling it out.
Okay, so they're definitely going to cut. Could go 50. There's no way they're going to keep rates unchanged, and that seems to be the consensus right now. So we're about 30 minutes or 30 seconds away from the ECB, and then we'll start diving into other things really quick, because we do have, like I said, weekly unemployment claims. I think we have Philly Fed today, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we do have Philly Fed coming up, and and retail sales, U.S. retail sales. So a lot of U.S. data coming out in just about 15 minutes from now as well. So here we go. This is a 5-minute chart that you see down here on ForexAnalytix. So
Nice graphic.
25.
yeah, 25 as expected. As expected.
Not pre-committing to lower it yet. We'll continue to follow a data-dependent approach and meeting by meeting. So it all sounds the same. No hint
now
of being
that's
more dovish.
that it's not as dovish as the market would hope, and this is where the euro is getting a little spike up into the 70s, right? So I mean obviously I'd be waiting for, you know, what happens during the ECB press conference, but I mean it's, you know, meeting by meeting. That's not pre-committing. So you guys have any thoughts there?
Yes, ARP approved my Dixie trade.
And your Dixie trade, you know, so you know, you if you guys follow via Twitter, I did send it out with the ForexAnalytix account just about an hour ago. I mean, the dollar index is at previous support, it's at channel resistance.
Yeah.
You know, this is really key. You know, if we turn below this channel support because the euro's you know, rallying above wedge resistance, I think it's going to end up.
By the way, the euro has given back its gains, but it's still very early.
Yeah, it is really, really early. One of the other things, and we should probably talk about this really quick, just kind of going back to Asia. You'll notice that the Aussie had really strong jobs data last night. Brian, I don't know, did you guys talk about this at all yet on F.A.C.E? I know you did.
Yeah, I sure did.
Okay. Strong data out of Australia. The Aussie rallied, but the problem with the Aussie rally is what happened in China. So there was some Chinese news. Again, you know, everybody's on pins and needles, hoping for another, you know, bomb to drop for you know, stimulus measures. And if you look at the Chinese markets, let me go ahead and pull them up really quick. You'll notice that the, you know, Chinese market slipped again. Now we are at the 618. We are at the, what I consider very, very strong support here. We finally hit it. It's also the previous high from May. If you look at the, you know, China 300, you know, we're basically coming towards the, you know, gap fill, if you will, right around here. Hang Seng actually did the same thing. We dropped right to, you know, nearly the breakout point, almost a 50% retracement. So you can see that these Chinese markets, the investors just are not enthusiastic about what they're getting, you know, as a follow-up from the PBOC and China as a whole with fiscal stimulus. Anyway, and I think that's what's weighing on the Aussie just a little bit here, not allowing it to follow through. Now, if we get the euro rallying today, I think that could be the catalyst. So you can see the Aussie's got that descending wedge. Euro's got a descending wedge as well. These are reversal patterns that are developing. They haven't broken out yet, but what could happen today is the you know, you get Christine Lagarde maybe doesn't pre-commit, maybe isn't as dovish as the market was hoping, and you get a little bit of a recovery in the euro, and that could be the catalyst that sends the Aussie finally, you know, back up towards you know, maybe 68 cents. You look at the Kiwi. The Kiwi is struggling to break below the 618 retracement. It's struggling to really break down here, but it needs some cues. It needs some cues from other currencies like the euro and maybe even the sterling. But because the sterling is back above 130. Matter of fact, I want to ask Ryan really quick. And I know you follow euro sterling quite a bit. You play cable. We had this break below 130. It looked like, you know, yesterday we closed back below 130. It looked pretty bearish. Then I got up this morning. I'm like, oh, shit, we're back above 130. What do you make of the price action here in cable?
It's still bearish. It's still very bearish.
Is it?
Yeah, we can get back above 130. We can't get back above 130, 25, 35.
Yeah.
And that traffic zone where you got that thick blue line sitting. It's, you know, a lot of pairs again looking similar. Aussie dollar's the same, got under 67, can't get back above 67 for any length of time. So it keeps the downside in play. Kiwi's holding up a little bit better. It's doing like the Aussie was doing a few days ago, where it, you know, found a bit of a bottom 60-50 and now can't get through it. But if it can't bounce like the Aussie, then that's heading lower as well.
Yeah.
But it's going to need it's going to need some impetus, I think, from now on. China's obviously the one for Aussie and to a certain extent Kiwi. But you look at it now. What are your reasons for buying the pound? You know, going back to cable, we're just heading into this budget.
Oh, the budget's going to be great.
Yeah, which may be negative, but there's a chance it could be positive. We shouldn't rule that out. I know a lot of people like to be glass half empty, but if the market likes the fiscal side of things, you know, not going too far into debt, and they like growth measures, whatever they may be, you know, the pound could rally on that.
Well, you got a conservative Labor Party in. I mean, I don't know what your thoughts are about, you know, the ruling party right now, but, you know, is it possible they could, you know, the market could actually like the budget?
Yeah, as I say, it is possible. It is possible.
Wait a second, Ryan. I'm confused now. Watching the US, I thought that the deeper you go into debt, the better it is. Did I miss something?
Oh no, they won't be stopping that. It's just they may not jump in with 2 feet; they'll just jump in with 1 foot. But they're already in this mysterious black hole. So that's what they'll be digging themselves out for. But there was a piece out today from some businesses, some millionaire businesses, who were saying that the capital gains tax rise shouldn't be a deterrent for investment. So
did you say millionaire businesses?
Yeah, we don't have billionaire businesses.
Dude, we do. We only take opinions from billionaire businesses here in the United States. You guys are really falling behind. I mean,
that's
honestly,
because all our billionaire businesses are in the US.
There you go. There you go. All right. Hey, real quick. I want to just point out a couple of things that I think are really important. You had the dollar Mexican peso running up towards 20. This is you know, we should discuss this just a little bit. And I want to just go in the ForexAnalytix chat room. I want to show you guys, and thanks Ryan for putting out all the euro you know, headlines here in the ForexAnalytix chat room. But you know, this is why you are, you know, you get into a community like this. You know, dollar Mexican peso at 20. I am not standing in the way here. You know, we start talking about why things are moving where they're at. You know, the dollar Mexican peso is trading up at 20. This is a big Trump proxy trade. If you really believe that Donald Trump's going to win the election, you know, you could go bet on Predict It or one of the other betting platforms, or you can just get long the dollar Mexican peso and really make some money. What are some other Trump trades that you're thinking of as we move into the election, you know, which is only 18 days away? Let's start with Kman. What are you thinking here as far as U.S. elections go?
Tariff man should be bad for China as well. Per proxy, you could say that stuff like commodities may continue to be weak. So Aussie as well.
Would the US dollar CNH? I want to go back to that since you were just talking about it. Don't you think the US dollar CNH would actually break out to the upside?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know, because you got the small feet as well of China pumping hundreds of billions into their economy. It will all depend on. I think yes, there is a fair chance, but then I do guess if it's due to U.S. elections, then I think the PBOC will send out the submarines if we go up there to try and cap it. But they may not succeed at first, but we know sometimes how difficult it is to fight them. But yeah, some other currencies may be a bit under the curve. People say like sell dollar yen on the back of it as well. Well, they actually the market is agreeing. If you only look at the election trade in the US, the market seems to agree that whoever steps in is going to be negative dollar yen. That's the market, okay? That's not my personal view, but yeah, people think the yen should get actually support from it, and that could be logic if really energy and commodities come down. What else is a Trump trade? Well, he wants to tariff everybody basically, so people think it's going to be very negative euro dollar as well. But
I mean, yeah, the euro should trade sub 105, I would think.
Yeah, at first. I mean, and I'm going to need much more than just a couple of minutes to explain what I think about the election trades.
No, we'll revisit that
Yeah,
on
I
a
think
separate
so.
call.
I think so, because my idea is that in a second wave, Trump is going to be very negative dollars, but very negative.
Yeah, me too. And I actually think, and going back to Dale, let's talk a little bit about let's talk a little bit about your idea in equities. Because I'm in 100% agreement. I think the market is poised and really looking for an equity market rally in the S&P. That's the whole hesitation why people will not sell up here, because they feel that, you know, if there's a Trump presidency, we're going to all-time highs and then some. But
new
I'm
all-time highs, by the way.
What?
As
I'm
we
sorry.
speak.
What?
New all-time highs in the S&P.
Oh, as we speak in the S&P.
Yeah.
And I think that'll happen at first, but I'm with you, Dale. I'm fading it. I don't know if I'm going to fade it the day of or 2 days later, but I am looking for a failure in the S&P whenever we hit new highs. I don't care who's elected. I'm selling risk, if not the day of, a couple of days after. And again, this has nothing to do with who wins. I don't care who wins. I think the market is.
It looks like your return line's coming in where, around 6,400 up there.
Yeah, it'll be about 62, 6,300 by the time we get there, somewhere in that neighborhood. That's the big long-term channel. So
yeah, I was interested in that. Okay, thank you.
Yep. How about crypto? I mean, crypto is obviously, Steve, you just blogged about this today. The Bitcoin is the natural winner here in a Trump presidency. And then obviously if it's a Harris presidency, you just turn around and short the hell out of it. You know, and probably Tesla.
Personally, I have no idea if crypto is going to be really helped. I very much doubt it by a Trump presidency, but the market currently believes that. And that's all that matters, right? So, you know, until proven otherwise, the market is going to react positively in cryptocurrencies to a Trump win. Now, personally, do I think that Trump is going to change something significantly that will make cryptocurrencies more appealing or easier to trade or reduce regulation or anything? I believe no. I believe none of that is going to happen. But as I said before, what the market believes is what matters and not what is actually going to happen, because what is actually going to happen is going to affect the price down in the future, not today, not tomorrow, right?
Yeah, and let's not forget, it's not just the presidency that we're looking at. We're going to be looking at, you know, how Congress is shaped as well. You know, if it's a red wave with a Trump presidency, is it a Trump presidency that's, you know, basically hamstringed by you know, a blue wave. So, but I'll say that, you know, this is Bitcoin, and that's a big cup and handle. And on a breakout above new all-time highs, I would not want to be standing in the way of that, because you've seen crypto and it's at its finest when momentum is behind it. You know, I would not be surprised if Bitcoin trades up towards 100,000 on a Trump presidency.
We've had this discussion yesterday on the Morning Edge. And I now don't, I'm sorry about that. I don't remember exactly who it was, Nunez, I think, that asked, you know, what do I think about crypto? And I said that, listen, crypto is, you know, very, very much correlated with risk appetite, of course, right? Most of the times, not always, but most of the times it's like a high beta proxy for like equities, right? And then he asked me if the opposite is the case, if a breakout in crypto can actually take equities with it, you know, with it. And they said no, and I honestly believe it, because I think it works more or less one way. So what I'm trying to say here is we do need, in order to see this breakout,
30 seconds from data, Steve, just FYI.
Yeah, in Bitcoin, we need to see equities remaining well bid. I can't really envision equities turning lower, which I'm not saying them doing it, but I'm saying, and Bitcoin going its way higher.
All right. Thank you, Steve. We have dollar index on the left,
Data
S&P
coming, yeah.
in the middle, 10-year yields to the right, and 5 seconds till data. Jobless claims, retail sales, Philly Fed, lots of crap coming out right now. So let's see how the U.S. consumer is doing.
Retail's better, 0.4.
Better.
Or better as well.
Everything that has to do with retail sales is better than expected, and initial jobless claims also drop a little bit
As expected.
to 241 versus 258, and continuous jobless claims stay exactly the same practically at
Wow,
1.
and look at the euro
dollar.
slipping back to
Yeah.
108.39. Woo! There goes the market. There goes the dollar index right to resistance. The euro slipped below 150 or 108.50. The dollar yen's spiking up to 150 right now. Look at the dollar yen. Wow,
Gold created a new intraday all-time high marginally, and now is actually trying to turn negative on the day if it continues like that. Keep that in mind as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, some big moves here with the dollar.
Super moon stuff.
Well, this is
so overall the data seems to be better.
Strong.
Yeah, of course. And the thing is remember, everybody's trying to bet against the US, and the US data is going to continue to be worse, and it's just not. And this is where the US exceptionalism story comes in, and this keeps the dollar very well bid. Look at gold's turn. Now, gold, you have to say gold still is holding up really damn well despite the dollar strength. Let's not forget that the ECB press conference is just in a few minutes, but you guys are in the right spot today because there's a lot of crap happening in the world right now. Whether you're talking about the Middle East, whether you're talking about China surrounding Taiwan, and you've got the Russia-Ukraine situation. And Dale brought in the perfect guest today in an election year, which is the election's only 18 days away. You have Harald Malmgren here. And so I want to say, Dale, have a great interview with Harald. What a great guest to have on a day like today. So I just want to say good luck, everybody. Thanks for being with us today during this analysis, during the ECB and the analysis through all the data that just came out. Kman, Ryan, you guys doing a great job on the Flow Show. Thank you guys so much. And Steve, thanks for being here, providing your insights as a European Greek.
My pleasure.
Boots on the ground. All right, I'll see you guys on the Morning Edge with Steve in about 43 minutes from now. Dale, it is all yours.
Thank you, Dream Team, and welcome back, Harald. How are you, my friend? Oh, I have to unmute you. There you go. Should be able to talk now, Harald.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
You're good. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good. So a lot to talk about. I just remember one thing from our last interview is you didn't believe that at that time that Kamala was going to end up being the nominee. Was she going to? When did that change? And do you think that Biden might turn over the presidency to her when we have this retaliation move from Israel?
So much going on. Where to begin? Let me say at the outset, the odds are about 50-50. Everybody is dumbfounded how tight this race has become. I personally think that Harris is slipping a little.
Yes.
And so you can see Wall Street is betting it's going to be Trump. Now, so let me start with what does that mean? Everybody's trying to figure out what happens next year.
Okay.
And they start with what happens with taxes. And I think the House will go Democratic. In that case, the House Ways and Means Committee will control everything on taxes totally. under our system, that committee can file up anything. So
they take the House. Do they control? Do they lose control of the Senate?
probably yes.
Okay, and who wins the election?
Probably Trump, but
You would
it's
say
going to
Trump.
be some. Yeah.
Okay, because his stock, that DJT, has been going up for about a week since a shift. Do you think the administration tried to put off Israel from doing this before the election? Or are they, is a tail wagging the dog to try, especially, do you think Israel's going to attack before the election? They said they're going to. Do you think so?
I think that the Israelis are thinking something much bigger than anybody is thinking right now. And they keep saying, all right, we're not going to hit oil and we're not going to hit nuclear weapons sites, but we are going to do something dramatic.
What could that be?
Yeah, I think they're going to go after the Mullah leadership.
Okay, so how do you do that from the air?
Well, how do you do it? How do they kill off all these Hezbollah?
Yeah, that's true. So they're already doing that. Can they do that? That retaliation? They've taken out Hezbollah leaders. They've been able to take out Hamas leaders in Iran. So it's not a military operation with jets and bombs. It's covert to take down the Iranian regime.
Look, we don't know, but they've surprised us at every turn, beginning
Yeah.
with all the exploding
Yeah,
rockets
walkie-talkies and pagers and all of that stuff.
Well, so look for a big surprise, not a little surprise.
Okay.
So, but I don't think it's going to disturb one way or the other the election.
Okay.
And so now we have to start thinking about what's coming down the road. Other than that, you mentioned China. Yes, they're stirring around.
Yeah, they're trying. They're trying, but the market's saying still not enough. Still not enough.
Yeah, the Chinese are not able under Xi Jinping to introduce direct payments to the working classes. They've got to get consumption up, but they can't get it up without doing that. But he's dead set against it. So they will keep tinkering. But I don't think there is no bazooka in the Chinese system unless they do something with direct money to households. And they just maybe causing domestic internal trouble in the coming months. The unemployment level in China for young people is now.
So isn't that a good reason? And also these young men that can't find jobs, can't find wives. Is that a good reason to put them on the battlefield? Harold?
Whether they go to war, whether they'll fight.
Okay, well, you broke up a little bit. So they're surrounding Taiwan. Are they going to? I also have read in the past that the straits, the Taiwan Straits, are it's a pretty difficult amphibious thing, except for a few months during the year. And I think October is one of them.
Yeah, well, our military is pretty much primed for anything they do with a devastating kind of strike. And I think the Chinese know that. So I just don't think they're not ready right now.
Good. Okay. They're not ready. So the risks that you see are still China. That they're if the Democrats take the House, that there'll be divided government. But this time, the Republicans will have the Senate. So it's a reverse of what we have now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how will that affect policy, and will that be enough in a Trump presidency to put up roadblocks to what he wants to do?
Yeah, what he wants to do. The House Ways and Means Committee controls trade and tariffs also. It, he will not have a free hand. But what's the biggest challenge next year is the fiscal deficit. It's so big and growing. And I think everybody's forgetting that what must happen is a huge amount of refinancing across the economy to take care of all of the growingly priced debt that's been sitting there for some time. So we're going to have huge budget deficit, plus a huge refinancing challenge.
Sounds like a sovereign debt crisis that people have been talking about for a long time. Do you think we're already in it?
I know everybody wants to think the dollar is going to fail, but you can't stop the dollar. The whole world is slowing down. So in that situation, everybody's going to want to be in dollar assets. So I'm not worried about that. But what we're going to have is a crisis of how to fund all this debt. Not only
So rates will have to go up because of supply.
That's right. I think the lowering of maturity rates is going to go up. Everybody's backing down. I think that'll be going up. And 10-year will go to 5 at least.
5% on the 10-year?
Yeah, at least.
At least what, in the next year or so?
Yes.
All right, so that's very contrarian. I mean, there's a few people thinking that, but that's interesting. 5% on the 10-year. How much longer can the stock market hold up? Do you think 2025 is going to be a difficult year in the market?
Yeah, maybe not the first few weeks, but yes, it's going to be a very big struggle because industrial activity is really slowing down, but slow down more. And the rest of the economy is going to suffer from very weak employment. Yeah, we have lots of people with jobs, but most of them are either government jobs or they're people with 2 or more household jobs. And but the full-time employment is dropping like a stone. So we have a credit crisis at the household level building. Now, watch out for one surprise. I'm pretty old. I've been watching old people deteriorate around me. Almost all my friends
So is this
all are dead, but what's happening? Trump is fading very fast at the moment, eventually. And already within the Republican Party, there are maneuvers going on. What happens if you can't function? And they're already talking about possibility of the 21st Amendment. He may have to be replaced early if he's elected. That's going to be a shocker, but it's something now under discussion.
Who would have to be replaced early? Trump if he gets elected?
Trump.
Yeah,
Trump.
okay. As that leaves us with J.D. Vance.
That's right. And nobody knows what he thinks about money markets, trade, finance, fiscal policy. He's an unknown.
Yeah, he wants a weaker dollar and to rebuild the industrial base here. And, I wanted to bring up tariffs. Wasn't that a major contributor to the Depression in the 30s? Smoot-Hawley?
Oh, absolutely. It was almost the primary pressure downwards, yes.
So here we go again, history rhyming.
Yes, but I think industry has mixed feelings about it. But so much of industry is now tangled up with business all over the world. So they're not going to favor a wall to keep all imports out.
Okay,
And,
couldn't China hurt us by just they're still our production base that we really haven't, we've made some progress with trying to bring manufacturing back here, but it's going to be, a decade, and they could squeeze us by not delivering what they make there.
industry is adapting pretty fast. I think not only in raw materials that they provide, but in manufacturers. I think we're on the cusp of a new industrial revolution.
Yeah. So you mean like the
I'm
fourth turn? This is the fourth turning, and we're going through transition period into it.
Yep.
Isn't that usually a decade or so to make
Yes,
the transition?
Yes, I think it will look gloomy for the next president, whoever it is. But after that, I believe we're entering a period of real prosperity. So,
Okay,
we
that's
have to
good.
go through that. So I'm not worried about that. But
Okay,
about the leadership, on the one side, is Harris capable to be president? Well, it depends on the people she has around her, but she's not knowledgeable or experienced enough. If it's Trump, but he may not be able to function. He's having real trouble getting through some of his events now. Showing signs of dementia, and I'm not saying this politically. I'm not taking sides on this outcome, but I'm trying to think who am I voting for. I keep thinking there must be somebody else.
yeah. What happens to Ukraine under this scenario?
Ukraine is a mess, but Putin does want a ceasefire. The question is, can somebody work one out with him where it's not just a ceasefire for a few weeks or a few months, but some kind of armistice with
Like North Korea, like Korea.
Right. And but he's ready. It's just nobody is ready on the Biden's team. Maybe they don't have anybody they can send. Now, Trump will do something about it on day one. It will get stabilized. So I don't think it keeps going. The North Koreans are joining with the Russians.
They have troops.
But there are signs that they don't like fighting, and so they're walking away from the battlefield.
Okay. All right. So why don't we talk about, we've covered politics, covered some geo, and we've talked about China. Any comment on Europe? Europe's already in recession.
Well, as you know, I've been negative about Europe for a long, long time. I mean, I've anticipated this drying up of the fundamental industry in France and Germany. I began writing about this 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It will continue. There's another Europe that is actually growing rapidly, and that's the
Poland.
Countries, Poland and the other countries that were part of the Soviet bloc.
Okay.
They're going to be booming. So the boom will move from France and Germany eastward. I think there's a lot of activity there, but it will take time for that to have effect on the overall euro situation.
All right. Well, what about politically, besides the UK, a pretty big swing to the right in Germany and France?
Yes, and most of the other countries are leaning right. Our press in the U.S. keeps saying extreme right. I'm not sure it's extreme. It's just far more conservative than the governments in Europe of the last decade or so. So it's definitely moving towards more market economy, less regulation.
Immigration, the issue worldwide, isn't it?
Yeah,
Really, the war is, we want to turn the clock back, and we don't like how demographics have changed in the last generation. So
yeah.
how do we get back there?
Well, Europe is turning inward on that. They're shutting down the borders step by step.
Yeah.
And they're going to start expelling people back out. Even
Yeah.
Sweden is preparing to send some of their immigrants out.
Okay.
A lot is happening that we haven't quite reckoned with yet.
Should we be investing in FEMA camps? All right. I'm glad I got a little laugh out of you.
Yeah, well, there's construction business there.
All right. So why don't we you're still putting out a letter, Harold. I know it
I'm doing something a little different. I had
right.
quite active with Nick Lensman, but
Yeah.
for a variety of reasons, he's working with another entity, and I'm starting out. I'm going to use Substack for a while.
Okay.
And do some deep diving into how did we get to where we are over the last few years? Why is the partisanship so harsh? It's all about money and how it affects the markets. So I'm going to take a somewhat different approach in analyzing where this goes, but I really think how we deal with the debt. When we deal with that, where do we?
Yeah.
Where do we?
So what? So for what Ross Perot was talking about, what was that? 30, 40 years ago. Is finally going to come home to roost.
Yep.
And if Trump is elected, is he able to cut back on social welfare? Social security, Medicare, and have tax cuts at the same time?
No, it won't happen.
Sounds like we're going to have a lame duck president, except probably on the world stage.
Yeah.
Is that what you're thinking?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Harold, it's great to talk to you, and appreciate it. Let me ask you this: do you think it's possible that when Israel retaliates, which you don't think it's going to be real kinetic, you think it's going to be something different? What are they going to do? They're going to shut down Iran's internet or power grid, and then it happens here, and we could blame Iran.
Very hard to say because they've surprised me with each step.
Why aren't they going to? Why aren't they just going? The threat is that Netanyahu has always been, has come here and talked to Congress several times, many years before, that his biggest fear is Iran breaking out nuclear, and they're putting out all kinds of stories that are a week away. They've got one. They could do it. Why doesn't Israel just go in and do what they can do to set back the nuclear program? Because that's a threat. Or do they think they could cause a regime change because the Iranian people would embrace it? Do you think they're going to succeed with whatever they do, Harold? All right, I lost Harold. Can't hear you, buddy. But we got a lot of information. So Harold's saying Dems take back the House, Republicans may have the Senate, and right now he says it's looking like former President Trump. That's what DJT is saying. Are you there, Harold?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. I lost you. So, anything you want to wrap it up with? What should people be doing with their money?
Buckle up, prepare for a period of refinancing of debt that will be really painful.
Okay,
And,
more and more on the government, but also on the corporate side and junk and all debt, or specifically U.S. Sovereign debt.
I think U.S. sovereign debt will be okay because everybody needs
Okay.
high-grade collateral.
All right. Okay.
But,
So that includes a shadow banking system that no one talks about anymore.
yeah, we're going to have a crisis in private equity. Private financing is now bigger than banking.
Will it spread to the banks?
Yeah, it will.
It will.
You know, it's going to be really painful in the private lending side, and the private lending side, by the way, is now spilling into ETFs. So,
people. That's interesting. So they're distributing their bad paper through ETFs right now.
Yeah, but that's how we got from 2008.
Yeah,
crisis.
that was bad housing paper. This is bad corporate paper.
That's right. That's
okay. All right. So should be looking at corporate debt, LQD, and how about high yield debt? That has been outperforming because they get a higher yield. I would think it would have a higher premium.
That's
risk.
Right. The risk premium is going to have to go up.
So short junk and long U.S. debt. What do you think of that? All right, because
that's right, man. Yeah.
All right, so that's really due for a reversion, especially if we have a credit crisis like you're talking about, buddy.
Right. Yeah.
All right, well, great to talk to you again, my friend.
Good to talk to you. I'm sorry we had a little bit of trouble with the bike. But...
Yeah, well, Pippa isn't there today. Your audio,
no.
your IT person isn't there today, right?
Yeah.
All right.
She and I are going to do some broadcasting together. We don't agree on everything, so it might be interesting. But
you're going to set up set up your own station.
Yep.
YouTube-ish. You'd be a YouTuber.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, it might be fun.
Yeah, father-daughter, it'd be great. I'll watch you, buddy. I'm a fan.
Yeah, I have a lot of stories to tell over the years past and how we got here.
We hear them every 3 months here and appreciate them very much, Harold.
Nice to talk to you again. Yeah.
All right, and appreciate that our paths crossed and that I get to talk to you 4 times a year or so.
Yeah.
Thanks for your time, Harold.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So follow Harold at Hale's Rethink on X and keep an eye open for what he does with Pippa. So that's going to be a wrap for me, everybody. I know the audio wasn't great, but I was able to get some stuff out of there. Software, yeah. Okay. So we'll work on the audio for next time. And everyone, good luck today. Good hunting. Wrap it up TGIF tomorrow. And remember, don't just count the votes on November 5th. count your blessing. All of them. And I'll see everyone tomorrow to wrap it up. Adios, my trading warrior brothers and sisters. See you later. They're thanking you, Harold.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
Nice to talk to you. Bye.
All right. You too, buddy. Bye-bye.